to the Wild Wisdom Podcast with Dr. Patricia Mills. I'm Dr. Patricia. This podcast is for people who want to transform their health, restore their hormones, and reconnect to their body's natural wisdom. Hi, I'm Dr. Patricia. I'm a Canadian medical doctor, published author, internationally recognized researcher, and passionate advocate for your health. Here, we'll explore the intersection between ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science, distilling the essence of true health into practical steps you can take. Wild wisdom is instinctive knowledge in action. Thanks for making this part of your day. Food versus supplements is a huge topic, and it took me a long time and a lot of research and a lot of personal experimentation for me to be able to answer this question with what I think currently is a reasonable response. And first, you have to have some background information, okay? So, for example, what we expect to get from food is the full complement of building blocks for our body, for our bodily function, right? And those building blocks are not limited to protein, carbohydrates, and fat. Okay, those are just three out of many other things. We need minerals like magnesium, zinc, calcium, boron, manganese. I mean, so many minerals. Like the bone is made out of 12 minerals, not just calcium. It needs what's called phytonutrients or phytochemicals, and those are chemicals from plants. And so things like complicated words like flavonoids and, alkaloids and all those kinds of things. Basically, they're like constituents, parts of the plant that give it its color and its flavor and its ability to protect itself from insects. And our body takes those things and uses it to create health within our body. And oftentimes those nutrients are used to actually not feed us, but to feed the organisms in our gut, which we'll speak to about the microbiome. And if we don't feed those organisms in our body that coexist with us, they will get healthy and we will get unhealthy. It's, again, the collective community. If one individual in the community gets unhealthy, everybody else suffers. So a lot of those nutrients come from plants. And even in meat, it's not just protein and fat, it's the vitamins. So there's some vitamins that are only found in fat, and that's vitamins A, D, E, and K. So you need to have fat from different sources in order to get those vitamins. And the more we learn about nutrition, the more we learn about those products. Now, for example, let's say someone says, well, I'm not in good health, and is it okay for me to just get all of my nutrients from food? And I would say it depends. Here's what it depends on. First of all, it depends on what kind of food are you getting. So I came across a very interesting study that looked at organically grown vegetables versus conventionally grown vegetables. So, sprayed versus not sprayed. The levels of minerals were 3 to 6 times higher in the organic vegetables than they were in the conventionally grown vegetables. Okay. So if you're someone who's eating organic vegetables, you're getting 3 to 6 times more minerals. And that's just the only thing that was studied, but you could imagine that it would have different profiles of those phytonutrients and all those things. The other thing is, how is your digestion? Does your poor health include difficulties with digestion? Does it include difficulties with breaking down your foods and absorbing your foods? In which case, you can eat all of the best foods, organic, beautifully prepared, colors of the rainbow, like the best food plan in the world. And if your body can't take that in, it doesn't matter what you're eating. So you aren't what you eat. You are what you absorb and can utilize, right? What you assimilate and what you eliminate. Oftentimes, when people are talking about being in a state of poor health, I would assume that includes poor gut health, and therefore that their absorption of nutrients may be suboptimal, and that they will likely require some supplements and specific kinds of supplements that will be easily absorbed. For example, when I started on my health journey, I was taking a lot of magnesium capsules. I was having, 1,000 milligrams a day. And then I did a test, a hair tissue mineral analysis test that showed me that I had a certain level of magnesium, and it wasn't very high, because the body will excrete what it doesn't use into things like the urine, the bowels, and the hair. And it was only when I switched to magnesium in water, so powder magnesium or liquid magnesium, that my body was better able to actually absorb it. And my hair tissue mineral analysis test showed a big jump in the level of magnesium stores in my body, even with the same amount of magnesium, just a different formulation, like a better absorbable formulation. So when we say food versus supplements, I would have to ask, well, what kind of foods and what kind of supplements? And that would give a more well-rounded answer. And then it depends, how unhealthy are you? How affected is your gut and the ability to assimilate your foods? And the supplement protocol really depends on your age, on your gender, on your health goal, on your current health status. So, that's one of the things that I do for some of my clients that I work with in my, smaller group programs and blend of one-on-one and group, is that I create tailored supplement protocols that requires me to do a very in-depth questionnaires, right? They have to fill out a lot of questionnaires. And then we do a health history. And based on that, I can create a very tailored supplement protocol that, in my opinion, best addresses where they are in this moment. And it needs to be adjusted over time, right? So it's not like forever. So in my case, for example, when I first started dealing with my health issues, I was on a lot of supplements. A lot of my health issues resolved, right? And now I have core foundational supplements that I'm on, that I take every day. And then I have my little toolbox of supplements which I take depending on how I'm feeling, what's coming up for me, what I'm noticing in my body. I've gotten really good at reading my body language. Like, I cannot ignore it anymore, like even subtle signs. And I'm grateful for every single one of them because it allows me to change what I'm doing and tailor it. And I used to be really afraid of disease, like getting sick and all that kind of stuff. Now I live in a state of, peace, because I know what I need to do in order to get myself on track. And sometimes that does involve supplements. Yes, it does. And I'm grateful for those being available for me to use for myself and for those who need it. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast, Wild Wisdom with Dr. Patricia Mills. If you like this podcast, please take the time to like and subscribe, and please feel free to leave any comments and look below for the contact information if you want to connect with me directly. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, or night.
Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Just a reminder, this podcast is for educational purposes only. This podcast is not a substitute for a professional care doctor or other qualified medical professional. This podcast is provided with the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services. If you are looking for help in your journey, it is important that you seek out a qualified health practitioner. If you would like to work with Dr. Patricia for her expert health transformation guidance, please email her at info@drpatriciamills.com to book a discovery call. You can also find Dr. Patricia on Instagram at Dr. Patricia Mills and Facebook at Wild Wisdom for Women with Dr. Patricia Mills, MD. For access to all of Dr. Patricia's educational videos and more amazing perks, consider becoming a Patreon member. Links are in the description of this episode. It is important to have an expert in your corner that can help you make the changes you crave, especially when it comes to your health.